Now this is Canyon's entry-level eMTB. Or is it?
Let me take you on a group ride. This is Gothenburg terrain. It's slow, it's technical with many rocks and roots, it's damp since it rained yesterday. Many, if not most riders in the group are more skilled in this terrain than I am, and it's obvious that they have ridden here before. For me, it's the first time, but I think I keep the pace okay on the climbs and on the flats. Not surprising maybe, since I'm one of very few with an e-bike. But this is pretty technical terrain, and others ride on bikes with more travel, slacker geometry and grippier tires. My test bike, the Canyon Neuron On, is more of a comfortable eMTB with, let's say, a conservative geometry. The reach in size large is only 455mm, but measurements should never be taken out of context. The head angle and the seat angle play a big part in how roomy your bike is, and size large is a good fit for my 185cm. This is a trail bike, bordering a cross-country bike if you only go by the numbers. I have to push a bit to keep up when we're going downhill, but I must say how surprised I am how well this bike copes in this terrain. I think a Canyon Spectral On would suit this place better, but as long as the speed is moderate, the Neuron On is not far behind. I have learned my lesson from testing other bikes that, for example, head angle isn't everything. Things are going well until we reach some of the steeper features. It never looks dramatic on camera, but trust me when I say it looks vertical from above. This is not far from a drop. Here is where I draw the line. Not because of the bike, it would most likely have managed this feature too. I have ridden steep sections before, but today I'm a chicken and I'm okay with bailing out rather than to risk anything. This brings me to confidence. This bike does feel balanced and surprisingly sure-footed in chunky, technical terrain. But at the same time, I don't feel that this is what the bike is designed for. This is probably more of an adventure bike, you know, for big days out, rather than a trail/enduro bike. The geometry is as mentioned conservative, but the choice of tires play a role too. The rear tire is a Nordic Speed Grip, a fast-rolling tire designed for cross-country and trail riding. It works well in the dry, but for me as an average mountain biker, the Nordic Speed Grip was a challenge on wet roads and rocks. Here I need to be very light and agile on the bike, but it's not that easy to ride like that on a 25 kilo eMTB. Add to that 85 Nm from the motor, and next to downhill Shimano XT brakes. There are a lot of forces to balance through that hard compound. It's always nice that you can blame poor skills on tires, right? Maybe I need to take a course with Bike Maestro, who together with Canyon provided with this test bike. Another factor to consider in this type of terrain are the 170mm crank arms. I didn't have too many pedal strikes, but I always prefer shorter crank arms on eMTBs, just to get them out of the way. I don't say anything about the Fox 34 fork. It is what it is, doesn't flex too much and it's doing the job okay, as long as the speed is slow to moderate. The rear linkage is well made and it looks very similar to the Specialized Turbo Levo I rode the other month, and that cannot be a bad thing, since the Turbo Levo is my current benchmark. Keep in mind that the travel is only 130mm. I don't know if it is, but the travel feels linear and you will bottom out if you're going down somewhat bigger drops. More air pressure can fix that of course, but then you will lose other qualities. I might come across a bit negative here, but this is what I find out when I push the bike somewhat in a type of terrain that probably most Neuron On buyers will not ride in. On more open trails, this is a comfortable bike that obviously can take on occasional rowdy sections you might come across. What you get for the money is quite a lot. Firstly, the Shimano EP8 motor with that large 630 Wh battery is the exact same system you will get on 2 or 3 times more expensive bikes. And the person who invented this USB charging port is welcome here to Sweden to pick up the Nobel Prize anytime. The frame is solid and well put together, components are at a good level, with the powerful XT brakes as the icing on the cake. These are the very same brakes that you will find on freight trains. Entry-level full suspension eMTB? Not really. This is more